just on my own. Is everybody
Hey, come on.
everybody that depressed? That
there's a
somebody's
start.
not happy on the end there. Good evening, welcome to SAFC Fan TV, another edition of the Sunday Bunch. Just very quickly before we start, I want to give a shout out to OneFootball, the OneFootball app, who sponsor the channel. Fantastic football app, which any football fan should ever need, really. Whatever team you follow, all the major teams are featured in the app, so you can get all the latest breaking news about your club as it happens. All the player stats are on there, so if you want to check out the performances of particular players, you can do that via this app. The good news is the app is totally free, and you can download it via the link which is in the description below. So once again, a massive thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring SAFC Fan TV. With myself, Philly, tonight, we have the legend that is Michael Bauer. Say hello, Michael.
All right, guys.
Have you had a good day?
Been asleep for half of it, so yeah.
All right, so
it's pretty boring. I was watching a bit of the football earlier, so it's not been too bad.
Fair dues. And to my right, we have Dino. Dino, have you been to bed?
Yes, I've been to bed. Yeah, yeah.
Dino's wearing his new away top, which
free XL.
Yeah, you can't really see it on there, but if you close up like this, it's not been ironed. But there you go.
Looks good on there, though. You can't even see the creases or the stretch marks.
Yeah, right, okay. And then, of course, on the end we have the mad mistake. Terry, how are you feeling, and have you recovered from yesterday?
I'm wearing a shirt to sort of the way I feel at this moment.
Blue.
Blue.
All right.
I'm not going to swear though, but I feel blue.
I've got to say, honestly, he's since he got here, he's done nothing but whinge. He's been a right old way. Can't be bothered with this. But anyway, he's here to keep you entertained. We are live, which means you can join in via the live chat already on there. First, as he always is, Las Palmas, Mackham, Thane is on there, Mickey Stewart, hi to you lots, Harry Lamb, Tony Lee, all right, Monkey, Terence, and the two V's.
Okay, thank you. I guess.
There you go. And Stephen Hensel on there as well. Mick Griffiths, who's sometimes nice to us and sometimes not very nice to us. And the Black Cat podcast, that's Carl down there, says good evening, everyone. Rejoined as a member. Yes, Terry.
Mick's always nice.
He is sometimes. Well, yesterday he was just a little bit not nice, was he?
Yeah, I pick up on that. Like, to be fair, like he was winding me up a tiny little bit, but he was all right.
What was he saying? Like
nothing. Listen, Mick's all right, and we appreciate you watching. You know, and we didn't call you one bit when we went off there. Not a bit, did we?
No, we didn't. just because I had a lot of say, didn't you?
Right then. Well, yesterday that was a rude awakening when it's Portsmouth 4, Sunderland 0. Michael, we'll start with you. I think overall performance.
Oh dear. Well, what went right? Barely anything. Let's get this out of the way. That the conditions, obviously, I'm sure this is going to be a talking point, and they didn't help things. But at the end of the day, Portsmouth still had to play on that surface as well. And I think a lot of people have said it, so I'm just repeating what everyone else has gone with. But like they just adapted to the conditions better than we did. I felt up until the second goal, it was actually even. I thought Sunderland, even at 1-0 down, had their chances. Although I would question why Luke O'Nien was taking free kicks. That was quite interesting. But once we went 2-0 down, I think our heads just dropped. And, you know, I mean, we'll get on to it later. I mean, just awful. I know you probably don't want me to swear, so I'm going to stop before I do swear.
Right. So, well, sure. You can't be swearing on a Sunday, you know, not when we've been to church. Mick Griffiths, Philly, what did I say? Don't say. Mick, you didn't upset us. We were just having a laugh. That was all. It's we'll go to you and then we'll go to Terry. Do you want us to go to Terry and then you can have an argument with Terry?
No, you can
go on.
You can do what you like. You're the host. You do what you like.
Yeah, we'll go with me first. Okay,
well, then, right. Terry, 4-0 down at Portsmouth. Overall performance, what did you think?
I look at Sunderland unbeaten in 6, Portsmouth haven't won in 9. Sometimes the weather is a leveler. It sometimes levels out the playing field. You know, some teams adapt to it better than others. Some teams just don't want to play in bad weather. Some players have never experienced this kind of weather before and they don't want it. They just don't enjoy it. I mean, I'll take an analogy from my running days. I wasn't a track star. Didn't have the speed, but I'd run on a nice sunny day in June, a nice sunny day, run against 15 track runners who were probably all faster than me. I'd probably come in the last 2 or 3 in that race because their speed would easily blow me away. Now, in the middle of winter, it's chucking it down, it's a bog, it's knee deep in mud. I bet you, a decent amount of money that I'd be in the top 3. They didn't want to know. They couldn't get through the mud. They weren't even interested, and they just put them off completely. A lot of Sunderland players yesterday, for whatever reason, just didn't fancy playing in them conditions. They didn't fancy the weather, and the team that wanted it the most, which was Portsmouth, and it's a leveler. You got 2 teams. Portsmouth are down where they are because of the form they're in. Sunderland are playing good football on good pitches. They're where they are now because they're playing good football, and they're getting the results. Yesterday was a one-off. You could play that game for me another 10 times in good conditions, and we'd win the majority of those matches. So, yes, I'm disappointed the players didn't turn up. A lot of them need to take a long, hard look at themselves and never do that again. But at the same time, no, we've got to bounce back and move on. It's one game that's been the worst performance. It's a typical Sunderland, isn't it? We play the best performance I've seen in League One on Tuesday, and then 3 or 4 days later, we play the worst performance I've seen in League One. So it's Sunderland. We have to bounce back, and just turn things around. Men versus boys yesterday. Men versus boys. The men of Portsmouth, the boys of Sunderland just didn't turn up.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, on the chat, Stephen Hansel says A-team. Thank you very much. Mine Trolls says, hello, the Fab Four. The Fab Four. That must be a song, Terry. All right, come on. For the Fab Four.
Yeah, definitely is, right? But not in the mood for singing.
No, we're man. The Fab. She loves us, yeah.
It's been a hard day's night, and I feel sick.
Oh God! Right, Dan, has the bed been made? That's the question. Has the bed been made?
There is no bed here. You got to ask her if the bed is made. She's just got a bed, hasn't she?
Oh, you're saying that Carrie should make the beds? That's shocking.
Oh,
fair enough. Just very quickly, Carl on the Black Cat podcast says everyone on the Black Cat podcast would like to thank SAFC Fan TV for giving them the huge opportunity of having the mad mistake on the podcast. Terry was on their podcast on Monday. Did you enjoy yourself, Terry?
I certainly did. Definitely did.
So check out the Black Cat podcast, another YouTube channel there. Follow Sunderland down here. Carl and the team. Great channel down there. Go and subscribe to them if you would. Dino.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, that was miserable.
I think we maybe have the Doominator back. Portsmouth 4, Sunderland 0. Overall performance for you?
Match should have been called off. Simple as that. I mean, I know the first half, I think both teams were absolutely terrible. I mean, the first half, they had 3 shots and 3 goals, and they weren't even well. I would say probably one of them was a well-worked goal, but the conditions were terrible. I mean, you're 3-0 down at half-time. The second half, how are you supposed to get into the game when you can't even run with the ball? You physically couldn't run with the ball down the wing. People are saying we missed McGeady. What would have McGeady done in that situation? He likes to run with the ball, but the ball would have just stopped in play. You couldn't kick the ball 5 yards, and the referee, just because it was 3-0, didn't decide to call it. The game should have been called off. It doesn't matter if you're 3-0. I remember, I think it was Boxing Day. I
just wanted your overall performance. I'm going to ask about if it should have been called off or not. You're just using all the show. That's it. Thank you and good night. See you. Bye.
The performance, I mean, no team played well. Like, even Portsmouth didn't play well. They just took the opportunities when they did. We couldn't create anything because everything was Route 1. It was just a terrible day for both teams. Them just took the chances. Them didn't play very well. Neither did we. It was just one of them games. The weather had a lot to do with why the teams played the way we did. I did say that Portsmouth adapted a lot better than us, but that's because we want to play a certain style of football. Maybe Portsmouth do the whole lump down the wing, get down the sides, and that kind of thing. We actually started to play a nice passing football, but one of our major thing is the wing play. We like to get down the wings, and we couldn't do that because the water was just stopping us from getting down the wings. It was bad. I'm not going to slate the lads. The weather was terrible. And let's be fair, the likes of Diaku, wouldn't have been used to playing in that. Hoffman probably wouldn't have used to being playing in that. I'm trying to think of else.
Does it not get rid in Germany like?
Not like that, probably.
Yeah, but
not
To be fair, Hoffman wasn't that bad. I thought Hoffman for me was probably man of the match.
Oh, don't go man of the match. I've got man of the match. Don't make it as well.
But even like
That's it.
the
Thanks
likes
for
of like Niall Huggins, he's only a young kid. I didn't think he would have played in conditions like that.
But none of them would, because it's a different kind of football, isn't it? Like, they've come through and they've been all being put together by Lee Johnson and being taught a different style of football, that the game that they like to play, and the different these conditions would be probably 2 matches, or even 1. You never get good conditions again for the rest of the season, probably not. So, and if they did, they would adapt to the conditions better, because now they'll know. Like you said, the slick style of football on the ground down the wings was just no point even keeping the ball on the ground. It was pointless. That's where Portsmouth did adapt to the conditions better.
All right, just very quickly then, 118 people on the stream already. Thanks for tuning in. 43 likes. We only like to hit 100 if we can on a Sunday, but if we can get more, that'd be fantastic. Just hit the thumbs up, give us a like, and don't forget, if you are watching and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It's free to do so. Just hit the subscribe button, and that will help the channel out.
Suck on me rock.
That was that was from Blackpool. We brought Terry.
That was like well over a month ago. That was
it. Was, but I mean, we've not seen Terry since, so he's been up and down. Right, just very quickly on the chat, Mad Mackham says, rubbish performance, plain and simple. Too many gave up. Johnson should have noted who and give them a proper telling off. Well, you agree with that, as you said. Karen's made the bed. Good, just as well. And Mick Griffith says maybe the kick up the backside they needed. And I'm sure they'll bounce back for sure. Anthony Lee says, who's Tony? That is you, Tony Lee. There you go. Right then, social media. There was some nuts comments on there yesterday after the game. This is it. Another season in League One. We're never going to get out of this. I mean, just talk about a knee-jerk reaction. So I'll ask the question then. Yesterday, was it just a blip, or, as some have mentioned, is Streaky going to live up to his name, and is this the start of a losing streak? Terry, we'll start with you. Was it a blip?
Of course, it's a blip. Definitely, 100%. It's a blip. I mean, you played 10 games, you've lost 2. The game we drew and the game we lost, we probably could have won. We probably deserved to win both matches. The only bad game we've had in those awful conditions yesterday. Even if half your team don't fancy playing in those conditions, you're not going to win a game of football. Simple as. They just didn't fancy it yesterday. And they're all going to learn from it. They'll all learn from yesterday's experience. They get back to the normal playing football at the stadium like other ways. It's a blip, yeah. I still think we're a top 2 side this season, the way we're being played. I do. I think we've played some really good football this season, the best I've seen in League One since we've been in League One. So I do think it's a blip, and I think it is going to be a kick up the backside. Some of these players are going to feel kind of disappointed in themselves. They are going to take a long look at themselves in the mirror. They're going to want to bounce back as soon as possible. They're going to want to play a better football, and they're going to want to sort of give the fans something to shout about again. So the away game against Gillingham's that ideal opportunity to give the fans something back, what they're letting down yesterday, big style.
Right, fair enough. Dino, just a blip, or is this start of Streaky's losing streak?
Oh, I'm getting sick of this Streaky losing streak. I mean, what do people need to realise? It's not the manager who loses games, it's mainly the players. The players lost that game yesterday, not Lee Johnson. Like, people are saying he should have started Doyle at the back. Let's be fair. Doyle wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. You can't pass out from the back when the conditions are like that. There was a couple of times you tried to pass out from the back and it just stopped in the water. So you had to go long. So Doyle wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. Sometimes managers do lose your games by certain decisions they make, but yesterday wasn't one of them games. That was just the players not turning up, not fancying it, and not adapting to the conditions. Lee Johnson can't adapt to the conditions because he's not out there playing. It's the players. It was just one of them games. And I remember last season when people were calling for Lee Johnson's head. I mean, let's be fair, the team last season was awful. We had an awful squad and an awful first 11.
It wasn't his team, though, either, was it? Which is what we said. I mean, you've got to at least give him this season to buy his own players in, get his own team, and then that's how you judge him then.
Yeah, but like, just people just love to just jump on the bandwagon. Oh, streaky! Oh, because we've lost one game. Or was it the second defeat this season? Is it second defeat? Yeah. Second defeat. I mean, I'd love to know how many games we got beaten the first. How many games we played last season? Do you know what I mean? People just need to stop. Just like I'm apparently the negative one. I've never really been negative this season, and everyone just loves to be negative for some reason.
You're the creased one. I'm going to have a word with Karen. Karen, if you're watching this, put the iron on and finish, and we'll iron there. It's offending me.
It's a strange old league. Look at Ipswich, win 6-0, get beat 2-1. MK Dons got beat yesterday. Plymouth only drew. Wigan bounced back to a win. So it's going to be a topsy-turvy season. We just got to make sure the majority of wins, and we played. I think we're definitely going to bounce back. I think the lads will be well up for it for the Gillingham match.
Mick Griffith says 2 losses out of 10. I'd take that at the start of the season. Absolutely. Michael, 4-0 yesterday. Was it just a blip?
You could argue it. We'll find out in 2 weeks when we.
You're not confident then? You don't. So you think it may be a start of something?
No, I don't think it is. But the point is, we're going to find out in 2 weeks.
So you just lied to me then.
Yeah, basically.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I thought just
on a Sunday.
He's sitting on the fence. That's what he's doing. He's not giving a right answer. He's just there. We'll see that.
Well, oh yeah.
We'll see if we win the league by the end of the season. It's not.
See if we'll look by Easter.
By Easter.
Well, yeah. You can't exactly call it now, can you? You wait until the end of the season to find out what happens. Wish I could predict this. By the way, put it this way: lost to Burton. We responded with I think 3 victories in a row after that. So we drew at Fleetwood, responding with 2 straight victories. So it just depends. So far, to be fair, whenever we have dropped points in a game, we've responded with successive victories. So just make sure you go and do that again. The one thing I would say that does need to improve a bit is our away form. I know the conditions yesterday they were just atrocious, and I agree with you. Irrespective of the scoreline, and even though it's not an excuse, the game should have been called off, or it shouldn't have been played. Really.
Don't go into that. I've got the question.
Well, Dino was doing it, or Terry was doing. One of them was doing it, so I'm doing it as well.
Thank you. Good night. See you.
Yeah, that's it. Bye bye. Yeah. Just wait and see whether it is. The only thing is, I wish we had a league game to put it right quite quickly, but we've got to wait 2 weeks for it now. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blip. I don't think it is. Sorry, I don't.
You don't think it's going to be a blip?
I don't think it's going to be a blip.
Streaky.
Yeah. That's it. Streaky bacon.
Imagine Michael streaking.
I really wouldn't.
Why are you laughing?
I really wouldn't want to.
Shut up, man.
That's just disturbing.
Come on, you've had your top off on the stream before.
That's even more disturbing.
It was for us.
Yes,
to be honest.
Exactly.
Right. Just very quickly then. I want to mention about the mugs, the SAFC Fan TV mugs, which we now have in there. I'll just show you a quick picture of them. Ideal for Christmas they are if you wear one of them. And I've been told that your tea or your coffee tastes extra nice out of one of these. So they're an ideal Christmas present. They are available to purchase either via our website, or better still, you can go on.
He gives me face. I don't have all them wrinkles. How many wrinkles you putting in my eyes there? I must have had a bad night's sleep there. I tell you what.
No.
Get a better photograph than that.
No, Photoshop is my friend. I drew them on. So yeah, you can purchase them. There's actually a link.
I've seen Tony's comment.
There's a link. There's a link in the description below if you want to purchase one of them. And I quickly want to say, the people who've ordered mugs over the last 3 days or so, we are waiting at the packaging to send them out to come in. We expect it to be here tomorrow, so they should be sent out tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest. So if you're still waiting for yours.
I thought you were going to say the mugs.
So Tony Lee, I want a 3V mug. Well, we'll get the 3Vs and we'll stick them on a mug as well. Right then, the weather yesterday.
Are we allowed to talk about it now?
You're allowed to talk about it now. Can we blame the weather, the pitch? It was the same for both sides. And then I'll follow it up with. Oh no, well we'll do that first. I mean, is it right that we blame the weather and the pitch? Do you know?
Yes, of course it is. How can you play football on mats like our style players to keep the ball?
Portsmouth did.
But Portsmouth just adapt a bit. I'm not being funny. If we were 3-0 up, right?
No, don't say what you're going to say because that's my next question.
Right. Basic. Well, how am I supposed to know you got ripped down?
Well, hang on.
No, right.
Don't show that because they'll dig all the answers.
Right. Put it this way, right? If you can't kick the ball 5 yards in a football game, You might as well be playing beach football. That is when you play
water polo. I told you this
or
yesterday.
water polo or whatever. At the end of the day, if you can't kick the ball 5 yards, if you can't dribble with the ball, the game should be abandoned because it's no longer a football match. It's just a game of water polo, as you would like to say. It was ridiculous. And I mean, come on, man, you couldn't even kick the ball 5 yards. You were actually scared to pass the ball back to the keeper just in case it got stuck in the mud. And it nearly did one time where Hoffman came, Flanagan were there, and the ball just stopped between both of them and they played and he nicked in.
Sorry?
I'll ask you all three questions. That was the Premier League match today against Liverpool versus Man City. Would that have gone ahead or would that have been abandoned?
Abandoned?
I'd say abandoned.
It would have been abandoned, but we'll get on to that question next. Just very quickly, Taffy Mackham says, my mug is fantastic and it's available for right-handed and left-handed people. So yes, you've got that side and you've got that side as well. So there you go. And Taffy Mackham, I did order one of those and he says his brew tastes extra nice out of an SAFC Fan TV mug. Michael, can we blame the weather, the pitch?
It's a factor. I don't think it's an excuse. I think I still maintain earlier that the players' heads went down when we went 2-0 down. And put it this way, the weather
That's nothing to do with the weather, that then,
well,
is
no,
it?
but that's what I mean. Like, it didn't stop. Even I saw Portsmouth players were sprinting, even with the conditions, to try and get the ball. A lot of our players weren't doing that. That, I don't think, can be blamed on the weather. However, you can't ignore the fact that the conditions were atrocious. I mean, I think Dean, did you see on the live stream, it was after 15 minutes or something, it looked like quite evident that the game should have been called off or something. Well, it was something along those lines, but just seen Chris's comment. Definitely don't, mate. It wasn't ideal. It's not ideal to play in, but it's happened now. We can't change it, unfortunately.
Chris Scott says we want a Michael Bowers mug. To be honest, we have done all the team here. We've got we've done our mugs are like that. You've got that one side, and then you've got yourself on the other. But these are they're sort of like that. So, but we will do you one. I mean, a Bowers mug would sell really well. Would sell at least 3 of them, wouldn't we? So
that'll be a success.
To his family. Taffy Mackham says he used to play water polo till his horse drowned. Oh, wait, man. Well, laugh at Taffy Mackham's jokes, man.
Unfortunately, I don't think it was that funny. There were some corkers yesterday. Don't get us wrong. There was some corkers yesterday, I must admit. But
Terry, can we blame the weather? Stay at the pitch.
Well, that's what Michael said before. If we were 2-0 down, let's say if we played that game and it was a good day, lovely sunny day, nice pitch, and we went 2-0 down first 10 minutes, the players' heads wouldn't have gone down. The players' heads went down because we were 2-0 down and they hated them conditions. They just didn't fancy the conditions. 2-0 down, they didn't fancy it even more. Some of the players on that day were good weather players. They didn't want the bad weather, the horrible conditions. Can we blame the conditions? Yes, because it suited Portsmouth players more than us. Like I said before, it's a game leveler. It leveled out the game, the playing field. The team that adapted the better won the day. Our players couldn't adapt to the conditions. Should have gone ahead. I had Portsmouth fans on my stream and putting messages on me on one of me social media saying that the game should be called off before the game started because the conditions were that bad. Now, the Portsmouth fans during the game, obviously 2-0, 3-0 up, they were never going to want the game to be called off. If we were in the same position, we were 2-3-0 up, we wanted the game to go ahead. The players lost the match. It wasn't Portsmouth's fault. It wasn't the referee's fault. It wasn't
the referee's fault.
The weather's fault. The players lost the match because they couldn't play in those conditions. As simple as. They might be able to adapt to it better sometime in the future. They've learned from yesterday's. They will have learned from the experience yesterday.
Well, Christopher Lee, and I don't know if that's the Christopher Lee. You won't know who Christopher Lee was anyway, was you?
Probably not.
All right, okay. Portsmouth had the shallow end, so that's how they did so well. All right then. Well, let's move on to this question about should it have been abandoned? Should it not have been abandoned? Different people on here said if we'd have been winning, it would have definitely been abandoned. We said we was 3-0 up at half time. Once they were 3-0 up. Once they were 3-0 up at half time, there was no way in the world that game was going to get abandoned. Had it been 0-0, and we said this on our live stream, had it been 0-0, we think it would have been called off.
For me, the only way this game would have been abandoned yesterday if somebody got stretched off by an incident caused by the weather.
Yeah.
That's the only way that game would have been abandoned.
Right.
If it was a serious accident.
If there was a serious injury caused by the conditions, that's the only way it would have happened.
Right. So there was a game yesterday. Aldershot played Wrexham, and Aldershot were at home. Wrexham were 2-0 up away from home, and the match was abandoned after 50 minutes or something like that. Now, that was, for me, you know, it's an easy decision when you're not in front of a home crowd. I know it's not the right decision, because at the end of the day, if it's a waterlogged pitch and it's unplayable, the match should be abandoned regardless of what the score is, where you're playing. You know, for me and Dino, we said it should have been abandoned. However, had we been 3-0 up, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have been going, should be calling this off. This is not right. So, you know, we can't have our cake and eat it, Terry.
There should be a higher authority somewhere where they're watching the matches, because some of the referees just don't like Sunderland. I mean, this is the way I feel. Some of the decisions yesterday, O'Brien was getting kicked pillar to post. Nothing much happened about it. But I think some of that half-time, the referee was walking off with one of the Portsmouth players, and he was laughing his back off with the Portsmouth player. And I just knew then there was no way that guy was going to cancel this match whatsoever. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot, if we were 2 or 3 up at half-time, I damn well think there would be some decision. I think it would have been thinking about calling the match off. I really do. I think there needs to be a higher authority where someone just says, watching the match and say, look at that match is unplayable. The ball doesn't roll 5 yards, doesn't bounce, call it off regardless of the conditions.
Right.
Of the score, sorry.
Fair enough. David Miller on the chat says ref was a disgrace. Dino is spot on. Dino?
Yeah.
Match abandoned. Should it have been abandoned? And, you know, I mean, like Terry's saying there, you know, if we were winning, there's a good chance that could have been called off. Now, is that not tantamount to cheating, really? I mean, because it either gets, you know, it's either a waterlogged pitch and you can't play on it and it's called off, regardless of who's winning, who's not winning, where you're playing, you know. But we're saying now, had we been winning, there would have been more chance of that being called off. So I've just done a Jacob there and asked about a 20-minute question. So,
of course, it should have been called off. If you can't play on the whole pitch, basically the wings were basically out of bounds. They might as well just have red tape going along there saying you can't play. So you can't play on the full size pitch. So if you can't use the full length of the pitch, it should be called off. It's as simple as that. If the ball's being manipulated by the weather conditions, that means you can't play football. So that means it's waterlogged. It's also dangerous. They're lucky nothing happened yesterday, because if something did happen, they would have said, why didn't you call the match off sooner? Because you could see players were literally sliding, and they were sliding off the pitches. Nearly one of them nearly wiped out the linesman. It was that bad. And I remember Doncaster away, when I think we were winning 2-1. Match got abandoned with rain, unless it was 2-2. I can't remember.
Well, is this the one? David Harris on the chat says Sunderland versus Accrington Stanley got abandoned after 81 minutes. Was it?
That was a draw.
That was 1-1 at the time.
If yesterday's game was 0-0 at half time, would have been called off.
And then there was another one, if you remember, it was years ago. This was when we went down with the worst punch of the season. Boxing Day, we were playing Fulham at home. It absolutely lashed down the snow, and then we played it. And then I think Fulham were winning at that point. They were winning that game. It got abandoned. We played them last game of the season. We ended up winning that game 2-0.
Yeah, but this is what we're saying. That was a home game. We was playing at home.
If it's because they're at home, that is kind of that you could put that down as kind of cheating, because if, like you say, Wrexham will feel cheated yesterday because they were 2-0 up. The match got abandoned, but yet we were probably playing in the same conditions as them. Waterlogged pitch, we're 3-0, 4-0 down, and the referee doesn't call it off.
It needs to come down to, is it endangering players' careers, you know, because that was yesterday.
Somebody quite easily could have been injured yesterday.
Yes, it was unplayable, and it was dangerous. It should never have continued. But it's down to the individual referees. You get some referees who would have called that game off, and some referees who wouldn't have. It all depends on the referee.
Put it this way, right? Say we're golfers. So if you were playing golf and you couldn't roll the ball,
I got to say,
I'm making a good point.
Don't call yourself golfers, are we, man?
No, we're golfers, right? So put it this way: if we're on the green, right? We're on the green, and you can't roll the ball 3 yards. You can't play it, so they'll call it off, wouldn't they? It should be the same with football. If you can't play a pass 5 yards, and we've seen it plenty of times where a player tried to play a 5-yard pass and the ball just got stuck. And if a player runs with the ball and they get stuck and you run past the ball, that means the pitch is just not playable. So it should have been called off. And people who say, oh, if it was used in front, yeah, we wouldn't be asking to be called off. But if it did get called off, I would be like, well...
Right, well, that's the question I want to ask you, because you said the match should have been called off yesterday, without a doubt. That's what you said, right? Should have been abandoned, right? Okay, let's say we were winning 3-0. Are you still saying it should have been abandoned?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be abandoned, but if it did, I wouldn't be complaining. I wouldn't be like, oh, we're being cheated. The pitch just wasn't any good.
I can guarantee. I mean, we had Tom from 4-0 written all over it on here on Thursday, right? And Tom's got his Portsmouth YouTube channel. Check it out, by the way. 4-0 written all over it. Fantastic content on there. Go and give it a like and a subscribe. I can guarantee you now, you know, in a parallel universe somewhere where all these Pompey channels are doing their Sunday bunch editions, I bet not one of them are discussing the fact that it should have been abandoned, because you know we wouldn't be talking about it now. If we'd have won 4-0 yesterday, I think we'd have gone, oh, shocking conditions, then mind. But we won't be saying, I don't think we'd have been going, that we shouldn't have played the rest of that game. It should have been abandoned.
Well, yeah, you have your bias towards your own team. It's like when you say it wasn't a penalty, but if it happened to us, you say it is a penalty. It's just one of them. But if it came to the way the referee called it off, I would be like, oh, well, fair enough. I mean, the pitch was terrible, but I wouldn't be complaining about it if he didn't. But if he did, I wouldn't be like, oh, we're being robbed, blah 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 blah. The pitch was not playable. It's as simple as that. And at the end of the day, if we did win 4-0, you wouldn't know how he would react, because we didn't win 4-0. We got beat 4-0, and at the end of the day, the match had been called off. And if you don't agree with that, well, clearly you just don't like us.
All right, fair enough. Just very quickly, I think this is in reply to you, Terry, where you said some referees don't like us. Chris Scott says it's utter rubbish. It isn't an agenda against us.
Well, I think referees are only part-time in this league, so I don't think they'll give 100%. I don't think some of the referees just have favourable teams to other referees, and I expect Chris Scott to stay there because I think he doesn't like me anyway. So,
well, to be fair,
he always disagrees with me anyway. So.
I've said this. I've said referees do have agendas against certain teams. I really do. It's happened down lower levels where the referee's been getting loads of stick and he's called the match early. Obviously,
I mean, already, you know, DJ, Wigan champions, us battling for second. You know, we've lost one game. We're brilliant, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to come to you, Michael, to ask you about if it should be abandoned or not. But before we do, we've just got to have a quick 30-second break from myself. In the other studio. SAFC Fan TV would like to thank our sponsors, OneFootball. This is a superb football app that every football fan should have. Keep up to date with all the players' stats and, of course, any injuries that you may have in your squad. You can check out the opposition, the team you're playing that coming week, and find out who their danger men are. To download this app, there is a link in the description below. Download it now, and thanks once again to OneFootball for sponsoring SAFC Fan TV. And then I had to wipe it off the walls, honestly.
Oh, you've used that about a million times.
No, it's always a different one. Why do you have to spoil it? You're going to write it down to you. We've lost one game, and you're all doing it. You come here with your crease shirt. You can't even be bothered to iron it.
2 games.
Yesterday, man, honestly.
You only lose one game in one day anyway.
Yeah, you know, honestly, man. Michael, should it have been abandoned yesterday?
Yeah, it should have been. I don't.
Wait.
Here's the question: why should the scoreline be factored into whether a game should be called off or not?
Exactly.
If that's the case, Wrexham's game should have been finished. If that's the case, the game, I think was it you that Dean touched on with Fulham many years ago. That should
we're not touching again, Michael. Every week,
as Dean alluded to, then the Fulham game should have been abandoned. And yes, I've said it before, and I still maintain that the players still had to perform better with what was on the pitch. It's still not an excuse to get your drop your heads after 2-0 down. But at the end of the day, you look at the state of it in the second half. There was many times I counted on this when I was watching it. The many times that players tried to pass the ball literally stopped many yards in between both the person who was passing the ball and to the person who they were aiming for. You can't play on that. And the fact that the referee didn't have the bottle to call the game off, irrespective of the scoreline, like you guys have said before, the only way it was going to get, it had to pretty much take someone breaking their leg to get that game called off. I think the referee deserves to be having a bit of criticism his way for that. Again, I don't believe it's an excuse for Sunderland, but at the same time, it's not good conditions. You're threatening players' safety here. You're threatening the prospect of their future, the rest of their careers. What have we got to do? Why? I just really annoyed me. The scoreline shouldn't factor into it. And yes, I'd be saying, and I'm with Dino, I'd be saying the same thing if Sunderland were ahead. The scoreline's irrelevant. You should be looking at whether it's safe or not for the players. People's safety should always come first, and the referee just simply bottled it.
So can I say?
Well, hang on. Man who hasn't got an iron, you wanted to say.
Right. So has there been games in the past where they've been called off for frozen pitch?
Yeah.
Never. No, never. I can't
Do you mean? Well, I think there's been times they've been called off prior to kickoff or during the game.
Yeah, frozen pitches. So what's the difference between a frozen pitch? On a frozen pitch, you can still kick the ball about. Well, it still goes. It'll hurt if you do a sliding tackle.
Dangerous.
So about snow. Didn't we play Stoke a few seasons ago and it snowed and the pitch was covered in snow and we won that game?
Hey man, listen,
that game finished.
Back in the day, you would play.
Back in the day.
But we're not back in the day.
This was like 2015.
Back in the day, you could 2-foot people.
I can't remember.
Back in the day, you could 2-foot people. You can't go. Or back in the day, we would play on it. Back in the day, you could elbow people and rag people around and 2-foot people and break people's legs. And
what's your point you're trying to make? A frozen pitch.
So matches get called off for a frozen pitch because if a player slides, it'll hurt them or whatever. But you can play football on a frozen pitch because the ball still moves. But you're saying yes, the ball can't move, but you can still play on it, and it's not dangerous to other players. I'm not being funny. It only takes someone to just even slip on that.
The referee needs to be assessed about that game and instructed what to do in the future, because clearly yesterday he had no idea what he was doing.
Look at the amount of times as well the players were trying to run for a tackle, and every time that they tried to go in for a slide tackle, get the ball, it was the water was just going all over the place. Like you could tell it was just bouncing off the pitch. It was going everywhere. How it should have been blatantly obvious to everyone, again, irrespective of scoreline, that was not safe to play on.
Right, just very quickly on the chat. First of all, Jeff Holcroft Spannerman says, yes, spot on. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Jeff.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Also, Taffy Macklem says, we have 22 points from 30. It's promotion form. Why would you think Wigan would finish above us when we beat them twice? Me personally, 100. Read it out then.
Stoke 0, Sunderland 1. James McLean scored in the snow. You could hardly see the ball and that game finished.
Yeah, well, in which case that should have been called off then, arguably, as well. Then.
Probably should have, yeah.
And that stat came from Thane Avenue stat, oh man, because Michael just doesn't bother now.
No,
just.
I'll be arguing with Thane on Friday night.
For me personally, the match. Yeah, right, sorry. Oh, sorry, have a drink. Sorry.
Had enough water.
Oh, get his window. Okay, his window.
Yeah,
he's all right. Right. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Are you okay? I think he's all right. Where was that? See, for me.
Well, okay. Do you think it should have been abandoned?
Yeah, 100% it should have been abandoned, right? But what I think, and yes, there's got to be a bit of bias in there. We were getting beat, and had we been winning, would have been screaming out for it to be abandoned. No, of course I wouldn't. However, the whole point of this thing, where the whole thing is wrong, right, is the game wasn't abandoned because the game wasn't abandoned, right, because of other factors other than the pitch.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't abandoned because one team was winning, because one team was playing at home, things like that. So, sorry, we've got some more water for you if you want. So it's and that's where this whole scenario is wrong, because it wasn't abandoned.
Yeah. Well, because if we're saying that it wasn't abandoned because of the scoreline, that basically what we're saying is that scoreline's more important than safety of the players.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it should be about if the pitch was playable or not. And if the pitch wasn't playable, then the game is abandoned. That pitch wasn't playable. Simple as that. I mean, you just, there's been matches abandoned for less than that. And it's all these other factors then what get taken into account. And I think that's where it's wrong. And that's, like Terry says, maybe there should be some, hierarchy, who can make that decision.
The thing is, all right. At one stage, it looked like the match was going to be called off because if you remember, it went.
Yeah, because we went, it's going to get called off.
Because it went to their manager, and their manager was going, please don't, because he knew that it shouldn't be. Their manager knew that game should not be played because they were winning. He wants the game to go on. It's as simple as that. Because if that gets called off for 20 minutes to go, he knows the next time he plays us, that'll be an even harder game in all right conditions, and he gets played at the end of the season. So, even there, manager was going, please don't call the game off. And Lee Johnson was howling the ref saying it should be called off. And the referee just didn't have a clue what to do. And at the end of the day, if the ball cannot move on the pitch fluidly, and if it's causing it could cause an injury to a player, it should be called off regardless of the score and regardless of who's in it and who's not. And like you say, it should take someone who's because the referee's supposed to be, what's the referee meant to be? Not impartial. Clearly there he was partial because he was
partial.
You know what I mean? If he called off the
filtered
game, I don't know, right? But yeah, it was all yesterday was just all wrong for so many different reasons.
Right, okay. Norbert Alberta says we were absolutely horse dung, guys. Apparently, whatever that means. Don't say it.
Pilchard.
All right.
I like his other comment the best though. The one that says his mum fancies Dino.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't even say that.
Scroll
Norbert Albers.
All right.
There you go. There. Norbert Albers there.
All right. Okay. Norbert Albers. Yeah, my mum fancies the guy in the yellow top. Well, we'll tell you now. Dino is single, as you can tell, because he doesn't even iron his own tops. So Norbert, if you want to get in touch, we'll put your mum.
Should we set Dino
in touch with Dino?
Set Dino a Tinder account.
We'll vlog it. And
we'll set him a Tinder account.
We'll vlog it. Yeah, definitely. So, do you want to know anything about Norbert's mum?
How old is she?
How old is she? What are you wearing? All right. Okay. Here we go. Right. Swiftly moving along. Right then. Did we miss McGeady yesterday? I mean, we've all, for the last few weeks, have said, he needs a rest. He's not really firing on all cylinders. And did we miss him? Or was it just the fact that we were just rubbish? Terry?
Well, like Dino was saying, McGeady's football wouldn't have been very good on that pitch, but he would have put more effort in than some of the players did. But it doesn't mean effort's going to count for much because it's down to skill as well and be able to play the conditions. So I'm pleased McGeady didn't play, to be honest, because I think McGeady will come back better for the rest. I think get him back for the Gillingham match. Hopefully he's going to be fit. We'll get rid of his injury, whatever the injury is. I don't know what it is, but
a deltoid one. He said it was a deltoid.
3/4 of the players just didn't turn up yesterday, didn't perform to the potential they can do. And if that's the case, you're not going to win a game of football. So the players actually need to learn from it. We all need to move on from this game. Like what Flanagan said, Flanagan wants not to move on from the game. He wants to write it up on a board somewhere so the players can remember how badly they played in front of those brilliant 2,000 away fans.
All right, fair enough. Massive credit to the fans who travelled all the way down there. All that way. Much respect to you lot. Mad Mackham says, Mad Mackham says 63 with their own teeth. Apparently, what's the comment I've not seen? Well, can you read it out?
Norbert says, lol, haha, I'm Norbert's mum. Add me on Facebook. Moira Albertes.
I'm going to bring that up. We'll have a look at that just now.
Dino's got himself, this guy's got himself a date.
Right, okay. Listen, we're gonna check that out just now. Tony Lee says McGeady was a huge miss. Michael, how much of a miss was what? We're just on Facebook. We'll not be like that.
How much of a miss
Sorry,
was McGeady?
Yeah, so Michael, how much?
I know
go
you're
on.
struggling to get your words
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I agree with the points made that Dino's type of football. So not Dino. Dino made it to the point that McGeady's type of football just wouldn't have suited that pitch at all. He likes to get the ball on the ground and just like actually try and create magic if on the wide areas or whatnot for other players, but it just wouldn't have been his game at all. Having said that, I think it's the fact that McGeady sets quite high standards, and I felt that, and to be fair to the players, the standards have actually been pretty high this season, but yesterday, just in the context of yesterday, the standards dropped considerably as the game went on. So in that sense, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I personally don't think it would have made much of a difference, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
I can't find anybody.
No, I'm going to say, yeah.
On Facebook.
Yeah, no, but we can't find Moira Alberta's on Facebook. Just all you need to do.
Look at you, building up Dino's hopes as well.
Yeah,
I know, he looked devastated.
Yeah, what you need to do, Albert, is just email us a link to the to our Facebook account with our email address is on the screen. Now it's SAFC Fan TV 73 at gmail.com. And to be honest, Dino's getting a little bit excited.
He's going red, bless him.
Too much information. Should we see it rock hard?
Man, yourself. Hey, you could have a date. So, Dino, I don't even know where I'm up
Right,
to now.
the McGeady.
Yeah,
McGeady
was he a wrestler?
He wouldn't have made a blind bit different because McGeady is known for dribbling with the ball, getting down the wing, cutting inside, and how can McGeady do anything when the ball didn't even move? We've seen many a times players try to dribble with the ball and it just gets stuck and they ran past it. McGeady wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference, and like Terry says, I'm glad he didn't, because there's more likely he would have probably got injured in that game and would have been longer without him. And I didn't think Aidan O'Brien done even a bad job myself. Don't get us wrong, Dejako didn't do much. I mean, to be fair, a lot of players didn't do much because all it was the left back would get it and boot it up front, and then we'll get it and boot it. It was just missing out the whole. It might as well have been a tale of three players, the two defenders and the striker. And
the only reason he brought Doyle on at half time was to make sure it wasn't 6-7-0. Keep the score down for me.
Right, fair enough. Nigel Dunn on the chat says Terry might be dying, but he's still funny. He found that funny when he was.
That's lovely.
But Nigel's a good good friend of the show anyway. Down there. Nefarious Dave says, anybody's mum out there fancy boas? Do you want us to find? Do you want us to find
are you trying to find? Are you inviting people to send a link to the email address?
Absolutely. Now? Let's get rid of this V tag years have all got.
They try to take us off the market.
Mad Magnum Sunderland's version of Tinder says down there. Marion Trolls says it's a comedy show. This Dino's so funny. Not as funny as his creased top, but there you go. All right then. This is what I found yesterday. I'll tell you what we'll do. First of all, 143 people on the stream. Thank you very much to you for that. 81 likes. So if we can get another 19 people, just hit the thumbs up. That'd be a massive help to us. If you are watching on a mobile device, then just and you've got the live chat on, just close the live chat. You'll see the thumbs up. Just hit that. It'll take you a second. It's free to do that.
Emma's comment.
As with the subscriptions as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button, and that will help us out immensely. Emma's comment. I'm looking for where we at. Bring Dino to the wedding. We'll fix him up. Right. Well, me and Karen have been invited to Emma's wedding, so that's
am I down as a +3?
That's the end. Yeah. That's the end of November. So we're going to Emma's wedding. Me and Karen. We'll bring Dino if you've got spare bridesmaids or anything like that. Be all right.
What's this fixed Dino for?
I've got a suit. You said I haven't got a girlfriend.
When have I ever said that?
You say it every time we come here.
To be fair,
I haven't got a girlfriend. Can I have
I mean, to be fair, when they were asking, like, I'm Norbert's mum, were you asking any questions? How old is she?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Well, you got to ask how old someone's mum is, didn't you?
That's exactly what you do.
Unless you're interested,
don't ask anybody's mum their age.
Because if they're 90, that's really good, isn't it?
Honestly. I meet your mum. How old are you, by the way? God.
It's a football show.
What? Oh, sorry about that. Terry's getting angry. I forgot what. That's it. Right. What was the scary thing for me yesterday after getting beat 4-0 was I've championed that the difference this season and why we're going to go up is we have strength and depth. And as much as even said, like, 2 first teams, I don't think our squad is as strong as I thought it was. Terry, do you agree?
What, for one defeat and you change your mind?
Well, no, because what I'm saying is,
come on.
Right. So I mean, I thought we was. I mean, Does not fully fit.
Gooch is out. There's
Does
3
not.
players that should have been on the
Does
bench.
not fully fit. He was. We're having to put him on the bench.
We haven't got 2 everyone keeps on saying this. We've got 2 teams. We haven't got 2 teams. We don't have enough quality players to make 2 good 2 teams. We've got 1 good team with about 6 players who can come into the first squad. Simple as. The rest of them are kids or players who could potentially be decent in the future. So we haven't got this flipping 2A teams at all. We've got 1 quality team. We've only got 5 or 6, 7 good players that come in. That's it. We need a striker. We need another striker. We're going to be short on the strike inside of things. If Stuart gets injured, who else do we have? This Broadhead could come in, but really we haven't got no out-and-out striker, to be fair. And we've always said we needed a striker, and we probably will get one in January.
All right, so you disagree with me, basically. That's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Just very quickly, just an idea. Should we actually apply for Dino to go on to the first dates? Would you go on first dates?
No.
Oh, are we?
The same thing's called Dino the Womanizer.
Yeah. Have you? What about you? What about yourself, Michael?
What am I, a womanizer?
Michael, I wouldn't have you down as a womanizer, to be honest.
That's fine. But, I wouldn't blame you.
Our squad, is it as good as we think it is?
Let's put this into context then. Wigan, who are just above us, we beat them twice. We're 1 away at MK Dons, who, if I'm right, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, please do. I'm pretty sure since we beat MK Dons, they haven't lost at home since. We've obviously beat Wickham, who've just come down from the Championship. We've beat Accrington, which is the first time we've done that since we've dropped into League One. Yeah, okay, Burton and Fleetwood frustrating. Those games happen. Portsmouth, yeah, it wasn't good, but that happens. Then you've got Bolton, who I think, by the way, have been a pretty good side, actually. And again, I've said it, I've championed Bolton quite a lot. Obviously, Cheltenham, well, they weren't very good, let's be honest. But, you still put 5 goals past them. We're going to have games like this across the season. I mean, hopefully not 4-0, but we're going to lose the odd game. But people got to remember, we're playing I've got to try and adjust this myself. I've said that I felt we're a little bit too open defensively and concede a few too many goals. But at the same time, the way we're playing, we're probably going to concede more chances. And I think at the minute, going forward, we do have the quality. Where I do have slight concerns is if Ross Stewart gets injured. I've liked the look of Broadhead when I've seen him. Whether he's enough to do the forward role on his own, I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. We're still, at the end of the day, we're still in the top 2 at the minute. We're only second on goal difference. And if we'd lost, say, 1-0 yesterday instead of 4, we probably might still be top.
If some buts.
Oh, it always is. Always is. Obviously, next Saturday, we'll find out whether, because Plymouth, I think, are the only team that are playing next week that could go above us. So if they beat, I think they've got Burton at home. So if they fail to win that, we're still in the top 2 going to Gillingham. And even if they do win that, yes, games in hand, I'm trying to avoid saying it, but we would have 2 games in hand on Plymouth. So it just...
Had games in hand before,
yeah, we have. That's why I'm trying to avoid saying it.
Well, you just said it.
Yeah, well, I'm most part of avoided saying it. I know you're trying to fish. Yeah, I think we have got a good squad. We've got a very good squad. I think a lot of teams would love to have a lot of the players that we do have. It's just about application. Just keep putting the application in, week out.
Right, okay. Just very quickly, Jeff Holcroft, Spannerman down there, says, is the next James Bond? Is there something you're not telling us?
I wish.
All right.
Yeah, that sort of money, that'd be all right.
I tell you, it's not that's the girls you're going to get, Michael.
Yeah, sure, that as well.
Nefarious Dave says Bailey Wright is not good enough. So you can argue that one. Mick Griffith says, will we YouTube the Stagnite for Dino? Are we going to YouTube you Stagnite?
Do what you like.
All right.
If you want to follow me around with a camera, that's entirely up to you.
Dino?
Yes.
The squad, is it not as good as we think it is?
Well, put it this way, right? The squad's on here, right? Hoffman, good goalkeeper. Carl Winchester playing class. Tom Flanagan been playing well this season. Bailey Wright, people can't see he's good enough because not good enough because he was good enough last season apparently.
Agreed.
Dennis Certain looks really, really good. Corey Evans, solid little player. Luke O'Nien, class.
You called him Chris Evans yesterday.
And
though,
I
didn't
did.
you?
I called him Chris Evans for some reason. I don't know why. Luke O'Nien, heart on his sleeve, does what he needs to do. Jajaka, don't really know him that well. Elliot Embleton's coming into his own. Aidan O'Brien, people are hitting missy on him, but I think he's a good player. Ross Stewart, amazing. And the bench, Lee Burge, I still think is the best keeper in League One. Don't care what anyone says. Niall Huggins, really good. Frederick Alves, we haven't really seen a lot of him, but he's come from a Premier League team. Callum Doyle, we all know we love him. Ellis Taylor, young kid, as you said. Alex Pritchard, on his day, can be really, really good. He's a championship player at best. And Dan Neil, everyone knows Dan Neil. Gooch, McGeady, Broadhead as well. I mean, Broadhead looked great on
There are
against
some good
Cheltenham.
options in there.
McGeady's really good, and Gooch can have one of them days where he's amazing, but he has them days where he's absolutely awful. Is anyone else missing from there?
I don't know, but it is a strong squad. It's just not two teams. If you do the maths, it's not two
I
teams.
think last season we had Will Grigg couldn't score in a barn door. I mean, you had Max Power.
Couldn't score. With a bag of diamonds.
All right. I mean, you got Jack Diamond out on loan. You got even Anthony Patterson there, great young goalkeeper. I mean, you've got loads of different kinds of players. I mean, last season we had the likes of Wyke, Max Power, and you know what I've realised? Has anyone ever mentioned Chris Maguire that we miss Chris Maguire?
No.
Don't think so.
Right, just very quickly.
And we've also got Denver Hume and the lad who's coming back. What was his name? The central defender who's been injured for a whole year.
Jamali.
Yeah, Jamal should be as well.
That's another option I forgot about.
Yeah, very true. All right, just very quickly, I want to say a massive thank you to Mad Mackham, who's purchased the super sticker for $4.49. Can I have a round of applause for Mad Mackham?
He's doing a meat clap there.
Yes,
No,
and
that's a fast clap.
a little bit further down, he said that is actually a donation to get Dino an iron. All right, it's Dino's iron funds, or alas. All right, okay.
Well, I'm going prostitution now.
No,
Is that what's going on?
We've
I've
got
got buy a last
four
now.
in between
I
us.
don't know what you're going to get for $4.49, like, but
You got him there.
Someone with no teeth.
right, I was going to ask for a man of the match. I'm not going to do man of the match because
You can't really say man of the match because everyone was terrible. I mean,
What did Hoffman do
yes,
wrong?
exactly.
conceded four. You
That one his
you
fault.
can't give someone man of the match who conceded
See
four.
the fourth
goals.
goal, he made a fantastic save. You couldn't do anything with that. The ball stuck.
You know,
where's
that
the
matter?
defenders?
That-
Where's the
that-
defenders?
There's the argument.
Can I just say something? If that was Lee Burge and that, everyone would be slating. Why didn't he push it away? Because
Yeah,
it's
but the
Hoffman.
thing is, when he made that save, if that pitch had been dry, that ball might have rolled away.
Oh, it would have been bounced away.
and
Where's
it
the
wouldn't,
defenders?
it wouldn't have gone to.
But wait there, do you know when Cole Winchester tried to clear it? If you recognise, he tried to pass it out. It stopped.
Marcus.
Then their player nicked it and crossed it.
Exactly, I know.
It was
None of those goals were Hoffman's fault. Simple as.
So you're saying Hoffman anyway for man of the match, and you're saying nobody because you're saying everybody was
I'd
right.
say the only other player that was running around trying to do something was Aidan O'Brien, who got kicked to the post.
the pitch was man of the match because it just destroyed me.
The Portsmouth's team were the best team, so I mean, end of the day.
Just very quickly, Tony Lee says, thanks lads, great show. Now back down to earth with Midsummer Murders. Good luck with that. Right then, we are just about out of time. I was going to go on a bit about Lincoln. Are you doing a stream on the Madness State channel?
Certainly am doing a stream. Hopefully it's more exciting than yesterday's stream.
Right, well, let me tell you, Lincoln City on Tuesday night, the Pizza Trophy. There will be a live stream on this channel, and
Copying me again.
And it's gonna be me and Kaza is going to actually do the
A team.
So
you don't watch TV like normal couples.
No, listen.
Watching TV. It's watching
Take it
football.
off for a meal instead.
Listen.
Treat the last match.
Next weekend for that.
She comes around all the country watching Sunderland when she's a Newcastle fan. And you didn't take her out for some food,
We're
man.
going to go to listen. We're going to go to QPR.
You can buy one get one free on Tuesday night.
What? A wife?
Food. Take her out for some food.
No, man, listen.
Won't say the new James Bond.
Oh, order some Papa John's.
Anyway, listen, this is what we're going to do.
Don't.
So, Lincoln City on Tuesday night, Papa John's Trophy. Me and Kaza are actually going to do the stream. So
he's making his wife do a live stream.
No, listen, she wants to do it. Listen, I said I'll do it. My commentary will be rubbish compared to Dino's. However, it'll be my rubbish commentary, but my wife is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet. So I'm sure it'll be a barrel of laughs. And if you like, she'll do. If you like the singing on Terry's channel, she'll do a bit of singing for you. If you like a bit of stripping,
She won't do that for you.
well,
I've got 3 rooms in my house she can strip in if she wants. I've got
right.
the landing needs stripping, the downstairs. Oh no, 2 rooms. The sitting room needs a good stripping as well.
Right, listen, let's have a prediction off you quick because we're out of time here. Terry, prediction for Tuesday?
Oh,
I know what Dana's going to say. Dana's going to say, I'm not bothered.
No, I'm not actually
I
going
know
to say
you're
that.
not.
I'm not going to say that, to be fair.
Lincoln 0, Sunderland 3.
Right, 0-3 for Terry. Michael?
I was going to go for that, but I'm going to be different. I'll go 2-0 Sunderland.
Uh,
There's going to be a bunch of reserve players, but we'll win.
2-0 Sunderland. Yeah, Dino?
0-0 Penn Sunderland.
0-0 Pens. Our reserves are going to be a lot better than their reserves.
Really,
They'll be like Wigan.
0-0 Penn.
Honestly, you're right. Doom.
We'll win.
You
We'll
are.
win.
To
We'll just win on pens.
be
Honestly,
fair,
man.
you get an extra point if you win on penalties.
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
actually. I
Yeah.
thought you
Do
got
you?
one less point off.
You,
I thought you got 2
if-
points.
Say that game's a draw, both teams get a point, but if you win the penalty shootout, you get another point.
So that's 2 points.
Yeah,
So you
basically.
get for a win.
If Dino's right, it's
Well,
2
what do you get
points.
for a win? 3
3.
points.
The
You
win,
rubbish,
isn't it?
you.
That's always better win, but if you can get
Right, listen, I'm going to go for 3-1 because that's what I'll be putting on
And you order
anyway.
a Papa John's.
So me and my wife on Tuesday. Terry will be on the Mad Mistake channel there doing his stream as well. Go between the two and just do that. Well, that's thank you very much for turning up. It's all right. Unfortunately, we've got to the end of the show and Dino's still single, but that's down to you lot out there.
check the emails.
Yeah,
How old's your mother?
yeah. Albert, we'll be checking the email to see if there's a link to your mother's Facebook page.
Might be a catfish.
And
I am hungry, like.
all right. Right. Do you want to say bye to everybody, Michael?
See you everyone. Take care.
Good. Don't forget to check out Michael's YouTube channel as well. Superb
Thank
channel.
you very
Go and
much.
do that and go and subscribe to him. Dino, do you want to say bye to all your lady
Bye,
friends?
Moira.
And everyone else.
Terry said bye to everybody.
See you later. Enjoy your night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free to do that. And we'll see you back on this channel on Tuesday. Are we waving? Wave to everybody. Go everybody wave. See ya. See you, Moira. See ya. SAFC have teamed up with our sponsors, OneFootball. This is a superb football app and the only app any football fan will need. You can keep bang up to date with all the latest news coming out of your club. Transfer news when the transfer windows are open, see where you stand in the league. All the league tables are on there. Any information you need regarding football is in the app. You can download it for free via the link in the description. Do it now. And once again, thanks to OneFootball for sponsoring SAFC Fan TV.